And hello, everybody. It is the Real Estate Show. It is December the 8th. I can't believe that. It's already a week into December, Jaden Bax.
Yeah, it's going crazy. I know you've got the stepdaughters with you there for Christmas, and my boys are just loving the tree and the elf on the shelf going here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it's a
Ah,
great time right now.
yes. And yeah, and actually, my daughter from Toronto is coming home over Christmas. So lots to look forward to. And the elf on the shelf, how's that going so far?
Yeah, it's good. So we had a couple of nights where we made a mistake and forgot to move him, and luckily my son had a flu at the time, so he just said he had a flu too.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Well, let's get right to things here. I want to make sure we're on the right screen, and as we take a look at our weekly stats, and man, I guess I'm getting older. Every time I'm looking at this on my screen, it's getting smaller. But we're going to get to really, I think the big story right now is, every time Jaden and I have conversations with people, it's like, what's happening in the market? What's happening with interest rates? I'm going to break it down for you, I think, in a way that is very, very interesting as we compare November 2022 to November 2018. So Jaden and I were both doing what we did back then. Very, very different markets. So we're going to compare that at the end when we look at our November stats. But first off, let's look at our weekly story here. So a new listings 135, so that's again pretty low. That compares to a couple of weeks ago. Solds at 146. Sales to new listing ratio there of 108, so down quite a bit from the previous 2 weeks. Days on market crept up a little bit this week to 42. Only 104 price reductions though, so that means that on the detached side, stuff is just selling. Right, there's just no inventory, and we'll talk about that again here in a second. Active detached at 1264, and then our total active at 2536. That's not including pendings, but I can tell you it's around 3,000 with pendings. So it's pretty crazy. So again, when we look at last year, not a huge shock here. Sales are actually down significantly, but again, this is only 1 week snapshot at almost 40%. New listings down 18%. Active listings down 18%. And then you see the days on market there. Just moving through this a little more quickly today, just because we have so much to get to with the November recap. Over to you, Jaden.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we yesterday was the big rate hike again. We were just kind of curious if it was going to be a quarter point or a half a point. All indications are showing that we are pretty much at the end of this rate hike cycle now,
Right.
and the conversations that I'm hearing and that Tiff Macklin is putting out there is that likely, we'll be sitting on this for a little while and just kind of now we're finally going to sit back and see what the effects of all these rate hikes are, right? So
Right.
you'll see in that variable, it still seems like there's good rates. Those are actually both a half a point higher on the conventional. All of the variables are a half a point higher. There's
Yeah.
just some lenders that have lagged a little bit, and so in some of them lagging there, there might be an opportunity to qualify at a little bit lower number. Not most aren't letting that anymore. They're using the new number to do that, and then we'll update their rates on January 1st. So, another interesting thing we're seeing is that those fixed rates are starting to slowly come down, and so. It was less than a month ago where that 5-year fixed high ratio, which is less than 20% down, would have been at closer to 529. So we've come down about a half point in less than a month there. So there's some options for that. I think really what's happening is that the lenders are seeing that we're at the end of this variable rate cycle. The bond rates are coming down so that they can offer this money at a little bit cheaper. But also let's give these people something like 477 all of a sudden looks really good when
Yeah.
you're looking at a 529, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look so good when you're looking at a 325 or something more normal, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of opportunism here with some of the lenders giving these really great, what they would call like rate promos or rate bonuses. It's great compared to the market. Very likely not great compared to what you're going to get this time next year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's go to the story then for November. So I'm going to roll through some of these stats and really the context behind them. You can see the total price still went up another 8.6% to over 520. Detached went up 10.6 to 619. Row up 13.9. Row, there's still no inventory. If you have a row townhouse that you're trying to sell, let's talk, because there's still no inventory with row townhouses. Like every row townhouse, the sale to new listing ratio with new townhouses is 99%. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's stick with price increases here. Apartment prices up 10%. And then here's the inventory story. So inventory is down almost 21% year over year to 3109. So this particular inventory level in November, we have not seen since 2005. 2005. So that's a huge story there. Months of supply up 1%. So basically, it's flat to last month, less than 2 months. So what that means is we are still in a seller's market in Calgary. And I believe if the numbers are correct, we're the only seller's market left in Canada. And again, we're going to talk about why is that? Why is it that every other market in Canada has flipped to buyers, or at least balanced, and as many buyers as sellers, or more buyers than sellers, or sorry, more sellers than buyers. But in Calgary, we're still a seller's market. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. Sales, they are down almost 22%, but look at the inventory, also like massively down. So there's just not the inventory to support the amount of buyers that are hitting the market. New listings were down almost 20% as well, to just over 1,600. So here's some notes. So detached sales, we're down a big chunk, 34% year to date. Excuse me. Our inventory of under $500,000 homes was down 36%. Like, that's just crazy. Like, that's the most affordable segment, right? Like under 500, there's nothing for sale. And I've been saying this. We've been saying this. I have to say this. I mean, to toot my own horn, we've been saying this for a while now, right? There's just nothing for sale. Benchmark prices only down 4% on the detached side from the May high. And prices are still, what is that, 11%? Man, got to get my contacts checked. But they're still higher than they were last year, right? So this is all leading into the story that I'm going to tell today about, is the market crashing? Semi-detached sales were down 1% year over year, so not a whole lot. Year-to-date sales are still up 37% over long-term. LTA means long-term averages. Tight inventory. And prices were flat to October. And then when we look at row townhouses, this is where things are craziness, and apartment condos, which I'm excited to tell you as well. Declines in new listings contributed to the slowing sales. Inventory is the lowest on the row townhouse side since 2013. So that number I mentioned, the overall inventory of 2005 historical levels, that's overall. But then in row townhouses, it's the lowest it's been in 9 years. Sales to new listing ratio. So for every new listing, basically a house is selling, right? Like that's banana balls. Pricing trended down, but still 14% higher than 2021. Here, apartment people, got some good news for you. The sale to new listing ratio, 100% in November. That means every new listing that came on the market, a house, an apartment, condo sold. So we had a decline in new listing, but we actually still had rising sales. Months of supply at 2. That means it's a seller's market. Pricing is stable from October, so that's good news. And prices are up 10% year over year, but still, of course, below the 2014 levels that I think it's just going to take a long time to get back to. So here's really what I want to drill down on today. So we're going to talk about a couple of slides here. And Jaden and I both worked in the 2018 market. And Jaden, I'd love to get your context on this too. So in November of 2018, we had 1,250 sales in the city of Calgary. Look at the inventory number, 6,500. Now, I took this as a bit of a, finger on a chalkboard, because it's a bar graph, but it's in the 6 to 6,500 range. Okay, so that's double inventory than what we had in November this year, right? So that's 4.5 months of supply. 4.5 months. That was a buyer's market. That was the type of market, Jaden, I'm sure you remember, where we would come in, 50 grand light on a $500,000 listing and get it done at 460, 475. And so November 2022, as we just told you, we have sales of 1648. So yes, that is down. compared to last year. But look at the inventory, only 3109. And so, okay, you go, well, yeah, but what if that continues to trend down? Supply of 1.89 months, seller's market. Okay, well, what is it going to trend down? Okay, so let me just go back to the slide for a second. One of the guys that is a mentor of mine in Alabama had a great video this week, and he talked about, will the market crash in the US? And it's the same story there. It was massively oversupplied, and he made reference to 2008 when it became all of a sudden, like overnight, people were walking away from their homes. The financial system down there was in a complete shambles. And so they had massive amounts of inventory and very few buyers, right? That's not the case there. It's not the case here. So my firm prediction is that the market is not crashing in 2023, and this is why, right? When we look at what drives real estate markets, so outside of people's pain or pleasure, so let's say the pain is they're getting divorced, the pleasure is they're having another child, and so they need a bigger house. But inside of that, what starts that whole process? So it's net migration and it's job creation, and that's not me. That's Calgary Real Estate Board Chief Economist Anne-Marie Lurie that says that. So look at the net migration, Jayden. Like 9,857 people moved to Calgary and area in the second quarter of 2022.
And we're seeing it every week. Every client we talk to that is talking about, we want to start. We want the pleasure. We want to start a family, but we can't do it in this Vancouver condo or this Toronto condo, or we can't be commuting 2 hours each way to work every day. You can't beat the lifestyle. My company doesn't care where I work from. We're close to those beautiful mountains, the Bow River flowing right through the city. How can you beat the lifestyle that you have in Calgary? And we see it with tons of clients this year.
Yeah, tons. So these numbers make sense. So we have net migration. So that is still happening, right? So that obviously people have left the province, but net means net positive, right? So then the other source or factor is job creation. So Calgary Economic, sorry, I'm missing the acronym here, but Calgary Economic Authority, for the first time ever, we had 900,000 jobs in Calgary, and employment is expected to average 2.1% growth through 2027, and unemployment is forecast to decline to 5.1% at the end of the service plan. So that's, I don't know, that's a technical term, end of the service plan budget cycle. So bottom line here is that we have net migration, and we have job growth. I mean, you name the category, whether it's de Havilland Aircraft or Infosys, Skip the Dishes, all the people that we deal with in the tech sector, where they're adding jobs to this. So anyway, that's kind of the wrap up there. So that's my bold prediction for 2023 is I think we're going to continue to actually see prices go up. So then you have to ask yourself, Jayden, right? Like, do you buy now? Like we had the conversation last night with at our business networking meeting with somebody that has been looking for a year, and it's like, do I buy now? It's like, I would. I mean, right? Like as we talk about.
We don't see them going down. And honestly, like when you look at those 900,000 jobs, we have a government that is very pro-immigration as well, and they're ramping up immigration. So it's not just from Canadian province to Canadian province. We're having a lot of skilled immigrants coming to Canada, wanting to fill those roles, wanting the lifestyle that we have. I think it's just going to continue to push things in the direction that we're accustomed to.
Yeah, and as I said to that person last night, I mean, we are still. I don't know, what was our benchmark price there? 520. I mean, you look at our overall benchmark price compared to Vancouver in particular, and Toronto also, we're still 40, I mean, probably 50%. We're half of what you would pay in Toronto, Vancouver, let's put it that way. So we're still very, very undervalued, in my opinion, for the size of the city we are, for the amenities we offer, and for the proximity to the mountains. Like it's crazy. So we could drone on about that, but that's the update for November. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll post a couple of links down below if you have questions about mortgages. We'll post Jayden's pre-approval link where you can get in touch with him. We'll post our link to if you're actually selling a home to get a market evaluation, and if you just want an update on what the market is doing in your community. So we'll post that after the live is done. Jayden, thank you very much. The Flames are on a winning streak, and hopefully it continues to when we beat Johnny Gaudreau tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm hoping Matthew Phillips comes in and scores more goals than Johnny.
Yeah, it's about time, right? It's about time. All right, thank you, sir, and thanks everyone for watching either live or later on all the different social media channels we're on, and we will talk to you all in 7 days.
Thanks, guys.